Good Wednesday morning, everyone. I got breaking news to share with you all as our global computer models have now uptrended significantly on this winter storm that develops on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week for the deep south, for the southeast, for the eastern seaboard, and even potentially for the northeast. And then an extreme Arctic outbreak is coming to the United States by the weekend and early next week also. So to start off the video, here's a look at the latest European model, or ECMWF for short, and this is for Saturday morning on the 18th day of January 2025, and we have now 3 winter storms coming over the next week, especially on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, folks. This is not looking good, unfortunately, for especially the eastern seaboard, for the southeast, and also for the deep south. So the first system comes through, and it's going to be impacting the Great Lakes. We're only looking at about maybe an inch or two, maybe a little bit more in some areas, maybe up to 4 or 5 inches. And this would be for Saturday morning into Sunday early morning. And you can see how this propagates. All right. This system originally was going to be the more significant one, but models have now become more consistent that this is not going to be the biggest system yet of the series of winter storms that is going to be sweeping across much of the Midwest, the eastern seaboard, the Northeast, and the deep South. Okay, and then it's really when we get into Sunday morning when things get a little interesting on the European model. Yeah, you got some snow that is going to redevelop here as we get a revigorating cold front and a weak surface low that develops in this area where we have some divergent flow aloft, some lift in the atmosphere. And then look what happens here. We do get a little bit of a snowstorm over the Northeast. And as we do zoom in a little closer, you can see there over New Jersey, if you're on Long Island, if you're in Connecticut, if you're on, say, Nantucket, as well as Rhode Island, Massachusetts, you could have some light to moderate snowfall. And this has been trending on the latest European model. Now it's a little stronger. And even on the 0Z, it didn't show much. Then the 12Z showed, actually, let's go back here. 0Z did show a little bit of snow, and then it trended stronger on the 12Z run, and now more stronger recently on this particular run. So it looks like there could be about 3 to 6 inches of snowfall with this first snow, or this second push of moisture moving over the Northeast. But that's not all. The worst is yet to come, unfortunately, and it's going to be developing out here in the high plains and the Rockies. So let's bring this forward for you all that are curious about this winter storm. This is going to be for Tuesday morning, and you can see, yes, the European model pretty aggressive, and it's not just the Euro now. The GFS and the Canadian are now starting to show this. This is a concern when we have all 3 global computer models that agree on the same overall scenario. That means our confidence is increasing, unfortunately, that we could have a serious winter storm for the deep south, including for southern Texas and southeastern Texas on Tuesday morning. Now, the timing is going to be wiggling around. I'm thinking between Monday morning and Tuesday night, we're going to see things kind of shift all over the place. But I'll tell you, this is going to be the winter storm that everybody has been talking about for the last day or so. And this is going to continue to be a problem for the deep south. In fact, as we do zoom in on the eastern sector, you can see where all that ice is in pink, and then the blue is snow. Now, on the European model here, on the latest run of the Euro, not showing very big aggression over the Northeast. But if we look at the 12Z output, this was a different story. This was a more significant winter storm for Wednesday, significant icing, as well as heavy snowfall. And yeah, look at how big that thing is. This would have been a big problem if it stuck on the model on the 0Z forecast. It could shift back though. What does the GFS model show? Let's bring this into motion, and you can see similar output here for the deep south, for the southeast. Again, that time frame all the way from Monday night all the way through Tuesday and Wednesday for the southeast. Again, significant icing, power outages are a possibility with that one. Now, if we look at the previous model run, the 18Z run, it was weaker. And then the 12Z run, just like the Euro, was really aggressive here too, especially for the eastern seaboard. So therefore, we cannot take our eyes off this one right now, just because on the latest runs, it downtrended just a little bit. That can back up and uptrend again in our next set of 06Z and 12Z model runs. Now, the Canadian model is the most aggressive run possible out of the series of models that we just looked at. The Euro, the GFS, and now the Canadian is literally super bullish. And we have to show this because there is different scenarios that pan out here. This is the worst case scenario, unfortunately, and it's been trending on our latest European and GFS models. So let's put that into motion here, and you can see developing a little later, but still thinking Monday night into Tuesday morning. It develops over Oklahoma, into Texas, then into Louisiana, Arkansas by Tuesday afternoon. This would be the 21st of January. And then look at how substantial this winter storm actually looks. Across Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, even Louisiana could get some sleet down here in New Orleans, as well as Mobile, Alabama could get some freezing rain and sleet. That is very, very far south to see a winter storm with the potential of seeing some snow, even as far south as potentially central Louisiana, central southern Mississippi. It is not surprising. And then the Canadian model has some big time snowfall for the Northeast. That's why I mentioned that this could be a southeast, eastern seaboard, and a northeast threat based on our latest models. And this would be a nor'easter, unfortunately, for the Northeast. Now, looking at those snowfall totals over the next 7 days, depending on what model you look at, on the European model, there is more significant snowfall for Rockies as well as Colorado, for the northern portion of New Mexico into portions of Kansas, western Oklahoma, and northern Texas. We do have some snow down here because of that southern snowstorm that I just talked about over Louisiana, Mississippi, possibly as much as 2 to 4 inches of snow. But most of the snow will be falling over the Great Lakes, according to the European model here, due to lake effect snow that is coming as that Arctic air comes in out of the north for the weekend and early next week. There could be 2 to 3 feet of snowfall in some of the snowiest prone areas. Actually, more like 1 to 2 feet. Sorry if I kind of over exaggerated there, but yeah, some of the areas are prone to lake effect snow, and you can get quite a bit of it. GFS model a little bit more bullish than the European model, being on the more conservative side, showing maybe about 1 to 2 feet of snowfall over New Mexico as well as Colorado, portions of Kansas, and then central Texas with that winter storm that develops by early next week. We could be looking at maybe 3 to 6 inches of snowfall, especially over Dallas-Fort Worth area, including for eastern Texas, Louisiana, and southern Arkansas, maybe about 2 to 4 inches of snowfall, but still lots of snowfall for the Great Lakes due to that lake effect snow, where you might see anywhere between 1 to 2 feet according to the GFS model. And then lastly, the Canadian model is the most bullish out of the entire group of models that we just looked at here, with the Deep South coming in at 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. There are some isolated locations like northern Louisiana that might get 12 to 18 inches of snow. Northeastern Texas might get as much as 8 to 12 inches of snowfall, according to the Canadian, including the Rocky Mountains here of Colorado, New Mexico, might get as much as 10 to 15 inches, maybe 1.5 feet of snowfall for some of the higher elevations. And then for the Northeast, you might get up to about 6 to 12 inches of snow. And then the Rocky Mountain, or not the Rockies, the Great Lakes region, prone to that lake effect snow, you might see up to 2 feet or more of snowfall over the next 7 days. Now, notice that I did not show the freezing rain and sleet accumulations, and that's because they are much more difficult and impossible to predict this far out. So therefore, until we get closer to the event and until models get more consistent on this winter storm developing on Monday and Tuesday next week, we will hold off at showing the sleet and freezing rain amounts until we approach maybe like 2 or 3 days out before the winter storm develops. So now, with that being said, here's a look at those Arctic temperatures. This is the biggest story as well. Not just that winter storm that develops this weekend into early next week, but it is going to be the Arctic temperatures that are going to be potentially life-threatening and extreme, especially for the northern tier of the United States and the Great Lakes. And we do have people that watch my video from these locations. So you can see up here, and this is for Monday morning. This is kind of when we're going to see the coldest Arctic air temperatures. And these are your actual air temperature values, not your wind chills. And yeah, we are anywhere between, say, in southern Minnesota, -15, Wisconsin, -13. Some of the northern spots in the valley sheltered areas, it could be as cold as -20 to -30 degrees. And then in portions of Canada, like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Canada, it could be as cold as -30 to -40 degrees. And that's not all. Let's go into the next couple of days here on the model, and you can see that the colder air is going to continue all the way through Tuesday, where your temperatures are going to be -5, -15 degrees across the northern tier, including the Great Lakes. But look at the Rockies here. According to the GFS model, -41 degrees. So now looking at your wind chill factor here, this is the most concerning aspect to the forecast, especially for Sunday morning, Monday morning, and Tuesday morning. 3 of these mornings, we could have wind chill values in across the northern tier, the Great Lakes region, anywhere between -20 to -50 degrees below zero. That is life-threatening, and all serious actions need to be taken seriously to protect yourself, your pets, and your plants. This is something to not mess with, folks. We've been talking about this over the last 4 to 5 days, how we are going to see an extreme Arctic air mass moving in for the month of January. Now, if you found the video really helpful, detailed, and informative, please don't forget to subscribe right now to the YouTube channel and hit the bell notification icon to get all of my alerts and updates here on the YouTube channel, because we are going to make another YouTube video on this winter storm for this afternoon, and we're going to be talking about more detail on who's going to get hit and how much ice and snow you're going to see with this winter storm. So don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon to get all my updates here, hit the like button, and share this video with your family and friends on social media. As always, have a great rest of your Wednesday. I will see you guys back here this evening.